views on this. Isn't this potentially a slippery slope here? If Republicans were upset, let's say, with a liberal-leaning court and some of the decisions it made, it might ponder the same type of changes. What do you think?
Neil, I had actually proposed this back in 2020 before the Dobbs decision. I think it would depoliticize the court. Every president would get 2 appointments in their term. Term limits is something I've supported for House and Senate members. We have term limits for the president. Why not have term limits for Supreme Court justices? The founders never intended people to be on these courts for 20, 30 years.
Okay, but the term limits is one thing. He wants, to look at decisions and essentially reverse them, including this one, a constitutional amendment saying the presidents don't have criminal immunity. Of course, the Supreme Court decision wasn't that black and white. The reason why I raise it, Congressman, is that when you now delve into decisions and then trying to reverse them by way of laws that will overrule them, that is an even slippier slope, right?
Well, that's the history of our country, right? That's what the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment did. It overturned Dred Scott.
But this is part of revamping the entire court.
Well, I think the term limits, which I think are common sense, would depoliticize the court. But I think it's common sense also to say that there should be criminal liability if a president does something egregious. Let me give you an example. If someone says to me, I'm going to give you $1 million if you go vote a certain way, if I did that, I would get tried for bribery. Why shouldn't the president have the same liability if the president takes an official act but is getting money to do that? I mean, there are clearly egregious cases where there should be criminal liability.
All right, I guess we can go back and forth on this, Congressman. But I did want to get your thoughts on Kamala Harris. She's raising an awful lot of money, better than $200 million. We're told much of it from the Silicon Valley community. That is your community as well. What do you read into that? Obviously, when you give a lot of money, you expect a lot back. What do you think Silicon Valley wants from her?
Well, she has momentum, but I think she needs to be very careful to still be pro-tariffs. I mean, I think it would be a mistake to repeal some of the tariffs to protect steel, to protect aluminum, to protect industry in this country. And she needs to make sure that we have a sensible antitrust policy, and needs to be clear that Lina Khan, that she has confidence in her and isn't going to not appoint her because of some interests of donors. And so this is a crucial moment where, especially on economic policy of industrialization, Vice President Harris needs to stand with those who believe we need to make things in America.